Welcome to Indian News. Our guest today is Annette Philip. She is the founder and artistic director of Berklee Indian Ensemble and executive director of Indian Initiatives at Berklee College of Music in Boston. We have to do a lot of catch up with her. Last year, she completed 10 years for the Berklee Indian Ensemble. And also, I just found out that she has also made a move to New York City from Boston. So we'll talk about that as well. So, Annette, welcome to our show.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time.
Oh, always so grateful for your support all these years and love all the work that you do, Upendraji. So thank you.
Sure, you're welcome. So let us start with Berklee Indian Ensemble. Last year, the group completed 10 years. So how the group has changed and transformed in the last 10 years?
Well, back in 2011, when all this began, just as an idea, could we have an ensemble that is exploring music, all styles of Indian music, and really giving a window into Indian music, art, culture, food, costumes, can that be a thing? From all the way back till today, it's been just an amazing adventure, an amazing journey. We've had about 400 musicians from 52 countries be part of this movement, this family, this community. And we have had the opportunity to bring amazing artists to come here from India and from all over the world to do residencies and masterclasses, workshops, and of course our big mega productions. Some of them maybe the audience has seen, with Clinton Sereo, A.R. Rahman sir, Shankar Mahadevan, Shreya Ghoshal, Vijay Prakash, Zakir Hussain ji, Indian Ocean, so many groups that have come in over the last 10 years and have really given our students, I think, this once in a lifetime opportunity to be mentored and to work together on stage, on the bandstand, as we call it, to, really take their craft to the next level. And also in many cases, surprise the artists who are visiting us because of the kind of reinterpretation we're doing due to the diversity that is such an integral part of the Berklee Indian Ensemble. And then I think the other amazing thing, which, when you start something, you don't really know what's going to happen. Of course, we all have visions and dreams and aspirations. But I remember the first video of ours that went viral was in 2014. That was the second video we had ever put out, and it was Jia Jale. And, it has gone on to be the most viewed video on Berklee's channel with 53 million views. And the full content that we've produced so far, whatever we've released, we've actually garnered 255 million views. So over 250 million views organically, all thanks to our audience, not only in the States, in India, but across the Indian diaspora, and also a huge global audience. So it's really been an incredible journey. I feel personally that we've just made so many friends. We've had so many laughs. We've also cried a lot. It's been a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. And at the same time, absolutely worth it. And, actually just gives us inspiration and excitement for what's next.
So and then also it started very small. I think we were 2 or 3 people, and how the group, the core team has grown.
Right. So as of, December of 2021, we are now a 9-member team. And the interesting thing is that everyone on the team was either in the Berklee Indian Ensemble, or now that we are expanding, we've actually launched a touring ensemble, and we have our academic class offerings in Boston, and we have a cohort of class students who are in the contemporary Indian Ensemble. So it's just been fabulous. And the 9-member team is from many different parts of the world. And they cover everything from, of course, music, production, engineering, community work that we're going to be doing, business development, fundraising aspects. They're covering the whole gamut of what we feel is really a startup. And yeah, it's a very exciting new phase, and we're inviting people to join us and just take this forward.
And also you mentioned the touring band. So what is touring band? Tell us about that.
Right. So when we got to this 10-year milestone, I spoke to the senior leadership at Berklee and I said, listen, this is really an asset to the Berklee community and the Berklee universe. And I asked, I would love for there to be a touring entity of alumni who are all professionals in their own right. They've all organically come through the program over year after year. And there's just this energy. We need to give it wings to really go out into the world, tour, create albums, release more content, do even more higher level productions, and really be a force in and of itself. But the main thing is that, as we look at this growth phase, this spurt in growth, I really see this as empire building. And so we have three main pillars. One is the education side, which we will always do. It's where we started. Then we have a very strong focus on community work, not just music as entertainment, but really music for healing, for mental health, and also creating support groups for our South Asian students here, but also parent counseling and other ways that, we can get into social justice and primarily have support. And then, of course, the industry wing, which is where the touring ensemble falls. So the touring ensemble is made up of 11 musicians. They represent 11 regions of the world. And, we have some news, which is that there will be a debut album that we will release very soon in a couple of months. I can't say the date yet.
Okay.
But in a very short time, there will be a debut album. And it's also going to be the first time that the Berklee Indian Ensemble music will be available on all the DSPs. So the Spotify, Apple Music, Saavn, you name it, and we will finally have our music there. We have a sort of a landmark agreement that we're working on right now with a label in India to, distribute the album, and it's very exciting. It's a whole new chapter.
So now in this global context, I have to ask you, so how the technology has played a role in today's music production, singing, collaboration, cooperation? How much credit you give to technology as well?
Well, I mean, firstly, in the lockdown period, I think technology was the primary way that people were still able to collaborate. Mm-hmm. And, early in the lockdown, we did a project based on Dil Chahta Hai. We had taken that, iconic youth anthem, and we were able to collaborate with all of our past musicians, at least 300 of them, I think, had joined us, and we were able to get in touch with Shankarji, Salim Suleiman, Jonita Gandhi, Hari Charan. I mean, so many musicians in India, and not just musicians, but people in the media industry and the entertainment industry. And I think that was a great example of how technology was able to allow us to continue to create art, to continue to also do charitable work through the music that we were creating, or the products that we were creating, and then try to help as many of the folk musicians in India who were having a loss of livelihood and due to COVID and due to touring stopping and tourism also stopping. So, I mean, that's just one example. But, on an everyday basis, we use technology. Sure. It's
before I come to India Initiative as Berklee, my first question to you is, let's talk about your move to New York City. What caused that, and what are your plans there?
Well, we are going more global with all of our endeavors. And as I mentioned, the education wing is something we will never forget. And at the same time, we felt as the touring entity takes off, mm-hmm. I wanted the education aspect to have a lot of focus. And therefore, after 10 years of teaching, I decided to pass the baton to two of my long-term, colleagues, mentees, and of course, amazing musicians. One is Yoel Genin from Israel, who is primarily a guitarist, but also an electronic, composer, very much into Ableton and electronic production and design. And then Harshita Krishnan, who's a fantastic vocalist, both from India and Lagos, Nigeria, who's been in several of our videos as well, and really have them start the next phase of the education angle. And so that is the class that we're calling the Contemporary Indian Ensemble. And with that being, successfully passed on, I felt that now that we're going global, I can afford to, move to a different part of the country, look at other opportunities for the touring ensemble and all of our other endeavors. And of course, it's also a personal reason. My partner lives in New York, and we've been
A good reason, sure.
long distance for almost 7 years, and it just perfectly aligns. It's a perfect time for a big shift in our work and also from a personal side. So I'm very happy, and New York opens up so many different types of opportunities, but of course Boston is where our heart is,
Sure.
and will always be our home.
Okay. Now, if you look at the Berklee's, definitely is one of the most premier music institution in the world and school. And I think during your time here, it has also drawn very closer to India as well, with all the initiatives we have done, and especially the India initiatives at Berklee. So if you can talk, in some way, that how the last 10-15 years has been in terms of getting Indian students to Berklee, or collaboration otherwise, and how this journey has been.
Yeah, I think at the core of everything with the India initiatives at Berklee and the ensemble and the India Exchange is that we feel music and the arts is such an important part of everyone's lives. It's not just someone who considers themselves creative, but really everyone. And if you, again, I take the example of our, this pandemic, people found sanity and peace of mind through music, through meditation, through Netflix, through having books and art to really immerse themselves in. So that is really the core of all the work that we do, that we want to see more people give themselves permission to be creative, to be imaginative, to be expressive in every positive way that is constructive to their lives and our society. So that really is the core essence. And based on that, always our emphasis has been, how do we provide more music education access to people from around the world, not only India, but of course with a special focus on India. Over the last 10 years, we have fundraised and awarded $2.6 million in scholarship.
That's a lot. That's a good, yeah, that's excellent. Yeah.
And that includes 5 full scholarships to Indians, but also multiple scholarships for students from different parts of the world who are studying in the Indian ensemble. And we've also done several workshops in India. The last time that we were in India, we met almost 3,500 singers across 5 cities in India. And that was just an amazing, beautiful, transformative experience for all of us, and definitely it seems from the feedback that they gave us also for them. And that's something we wanted to keep doing, because it's not so much about attracting students to come to Berklee, or whether in Boston or New York or Valencia or online. It's really ultimately about creativity. It's really ultimately about expression. It's really ultimately about spreading joy and making sure that important untold stories are shared. So, that I always feel like that's really the most important thing. Berklee as an institution, our goal is, how can we find, the most talented and deserving musicians from around the world and help nurture them and just open doors, because tomorrow a musician may be hired by Google or maybe hired by Apple. In fact, Microsoft, Apple, Google, all these companies, Adobe, you name it, they have so many musicians on their team because musicians have a lot of interesting mindset and skill sets, which are to collaborate, to improvise, to adapt, to listen, to find different new innovative techniques. And that is so important even in our corporate world. So we feel like music is that thread throughout many different industries, and anything we can do to support someone who wants to follow that dream or inculcate that passion, like you said that you've been taking vocal lessons. I was so happy to hear that.
Yes, yeah, it has been 6 years almost. Yes, yeah,
Uh,
exactly. I think that's the best thing I've done to myself, learning music,
I'm
singing.
so glad. I'm so
Yes,
glad.
so good. So now, if I ask you to look in your crystal ball and tell us that how the next 5 to 10 years is going to be for the music industry, given the technology and so many uncertainties going on right now in the world.
Right. Well, behind me, I'm at Berklee, New York City. This is an Oculus. Upendraji, I don't know if you've ever, worn
No,
one.
I have not. No.
I think you should try it.
Okay, absolutely.
So the world of AR, VR, augmented reality, virtual reality, all these things, 360 videos with ambisonic sound. I mean, these things are, again, heavily steeped in technology, but the primary essence is how are we transforming the experience of consuming art? How are we transforming the experience of being at a concert, but being there where it's not just something that you view and you hear, but you're participating in, you're actively engaging in. It is, getting less and less of a passive experience and more of an active user experience. And I think it was bound to happen. We're talking about the metaverse and everything now. It was bound to happen. Things are getting, I should say, more immersive, more tactile, and I think the future is to incorporate all the senses, to be able to smell the aroma of a space. We already do that when we do concerts. I mean, in India we might light agarbatti, or we might have flowers, and it just raises the ambience of the space that you're performing in. And I think that's probably one of the things that many people are going to experiment with, and I'm excited about it. I think it would be very fun.
Excellent. Now, before I let you go, your last word on music, and again, futuristically talking about Berklee Indian Ensemble.
Well, first of all, I just want to thank our amazing, amazing, loyal, loving, nurturing family all over the world. Not just the musicians, but their parents who allowed them to, really follow their dreams. And of course, people like yourself, people like all our wonderful supporters who have continued to listen to our music, who have continued to come to, see our concerts. It means the world. I mean, I can't express how much it means and how much it encourages us to keep doing the work, to keep thinking like really crazy out there dreams, and keep putting energy and love into it, because ultimately that's what makes us get up every day. So just grateful for that. Please watch out for the debut album, and I don't know if I can send an email. You can email us at indiaexchange@berklee.edu if you want to be on the mailing list and just be on this adventure with us. And finally,
now you are creating a lot of curiosity here. I'm very curious now. Can you at least talk about the theme of the album or something? Some
yes,
of a clue?
Sure. That much I can say.
Sure.
It is, our first album, we felt, should be a commemorative album, of the last 10 years. And so there are some new tunes, also some tunes that you've heard before, but until now have never been available to listen except on YouTube. And people write to us every day on social media or on email, why is your music not on Spotify? Why is your music not on JioSaavn? And, there are licensing reasons for that. There are, music, business, legal reasons for that. But the cool thing is that we have finally gotten to that point where we found an amazing partner. I will hope that we can have a second conversation sometime this year, right
Sure.
when the launch is going to happen, where I can shout it out from the top of the mountain. But for now, thank you for making this possible, all of you for being part of the journey, and inviting anyone who wants to volunteer, who wants to do philanthropy, because the entire work that is under the India initiatives, it is completely run through philanthropy because it is treated as a startup. So a lot of people don't know that. So whether it's scholarships or any of the work that we're doing, we fundraise for it. So we're just so grateful and super excited.
Annette, thank you very much. Really enjoyed talking with you, and all the best for your future endeavors.
Thank you, Pendraji, and thank you to everyone at India New England. So happy for your support. Grateful.
Thanks.